Hey, somebody needs to straighten my weight room. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today and with every show we do is play the part of best friend or coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. This week, The Professional Noticer is sponsored by WisdomHarbor.com. Here are a couple of quick questions. First question, how long has the public school system in your state been repeating the mantra, more money for education? And the second question, through the years, as they have gotten more money, how much has changed? Today, schools all over America are finding WisdomHarbor.com's one-of-a-kind web portal to be the perfect, low-cost, high-quality educational tool for their students. For less than $3 a month per teacher, about the cost of 5 eggs, classrooms have access to original content only found on WisdomHarbor.com that teaches, entertains, and builds character in young people. Utilizing video, audio, and the written word, content is delivered in small bites by Grammy winners, CEOs, comedians, chefs, best-selling authors, and Hall of Fame speakers. There are even guitar lessons from an award-winning songwriter. Check it out today and join your friends and neighbors who are already part of WisdomHarbor.com. And isn't it time your school system got involved? WisdomHarbor.com. Observations and answers, that's what we do here on The Professional Noticer. And as you know, we love it when somebody comes to the table with both. When we can get a guest that has some observations and answers, that's just special. And that's what we have today. You will recognize our guest. He's an actor, an author, producer, and director, and somebody I have known of for a long time, but have not met. We have mutual friends. Please welcome the star of the newest Left Behind movie right now, Kevin Sorbo. Kevin, how are you?
Good to be here, sir. Good to be here.
Man, thank you for joining us. I didn't know where to get you, and so I knew I'd heard you say something about Dallas Jenkins on TV, and I thought, well, Dallas is my buddy, and so I emailed Dallas, and the next thing I know, you're like, "Hi, it's Kevin. I'm here. What do you need?" So thank you for being with us.
Dallas and I go way back, way back. In fact, it's kind of interesting with the Left Behind movie because my first really faith-based movie was with Dallas directing me, and it was a movie that I've done about 90 movies, and it's in my top 3. It's called What If? And his father, Jerry Jenkins, funded it and produced it. Dallas directed it. He gave me the script because, like I said, his kids, my kids, same age, my wife and his wife, very good friends. And
right.
I read the script and I said, "Who's playing Pastor Ben?" He said, "Well, I got maybe this guy's interested." And I go, "No, I'm playing." He goes, "Kevin, I can't afford you, man." I said, "Pay me the minimum, whatever SAG says. I have to play this role." I'm telling you, it's the same writers, Chuck and Corey, that did God's Not Dead, which came out a couple years later, which was a huge hit. But in my book, What If is a better movie and a much better movie, and people need to see it. But here's the trouble with independent movies. How do you get them out there when you don't have $100 million advertising budget like they do for Avengers and Avatar and things like that? Because that's what those guys got in those $300 million movies. So we got to rely on word of mouth and with people like you to get the word out there. Because that movie, to me, like I said, I love What If. I recommend that people go check it out. And then the roundabout circle is, here I am doing Left Behind, the sequel to the last one that came out 8 years ago with Nicolas Cage. And it's Jerry Jenkins. So this is kind of pretty cool for me to be part of this movie.
Yeah, man. And this is Rise of the AntiChrist. And I just got to say, with Neil McDonough, you got the right guy in that part. He just looks like it.
You know, Neil's a good buddy of mine, and we've been talking for years. When are we going to do a movie together? So I got the honor of directing this movie as well, and I got a hold of Neil. I got a hold of Corbin Burnson, Bailey Chase, Greg Perot's awesome in there as Buck. He did a great job. It's really his movie more than anybody else. I mean, there's a bunch of different stories all coming together, but Neil and I right now are trying to raise money on a Western. It's a very Yellowstone-ish kind of Western set in the 1860s, but it's a Cain and Abel story. But we're not going to sugarcoat it, make it all sweet and stuff. We're going to show what the 1860s was like, but it is Cain and Abel.
Right. You know, I think that, you know, what you mentioned about the ad budgets, and then if you put if you put that versus word of mouth is obviously more powerful. I just think that we don't take advantage of what we have, because if you have bad word of mouth, there's no amount of traditional advertising that can cover that. But if you have great word of mouth, there's no way anybody can advertise against you. And I think that traditional advertising is just a tax you pay for not having great word of mouth. And we can do this if we just talk.
Yeah. I just get stopped all the time because of Hercules, which was a huge hit for 7 years, and Andromeda and things like that. I get stopped all the time now. Airports, hotel lobbies, restaurants, whatever. People say, hey, do more movies like Soul Surfer and Let There Be Light and God's Not Dead. We want more. There's 80 million homes out here that want that. And Hollywood just totally blows that sector off, which is weird to me, to have that kind of ideology. It's called show business. It's not show. They can scream socialism is great all they want, but let's face it, they're all capitalists. And they all want to make money and to keep their stockholders happy. So I find it weird that they don't want to do more movies like the ones that I'm doing, like Dallas is doing, like the Irwin brothers are doing. But, I'm going to keep plugging along and keep making movies that have hope and love, redemption and laughter, and things that Hollywood won't do, because they're winning the battle, as you know. You see the stuff they're putting out there. And I'm glad to see the public finally answering to what, Netflix and Disney's doing, because their stocks just imploded on them this year because people are tired with the agenda they keep forcing into their throats. I think most people don't care what people do in their personal lives. What they get tired of is this: you better be acceptance, but they're not tolerant. Tolerance and freedom of speech is a one-way street to people in Hollywood. So it's crazy to me that we got to fight this stupid fight.
I agree. And I'm so glad to see our buddy Dallas doing so well with The Chosen. But even that has given me just new breath in reading the Bible. I just visualize it differently. I guess I didn't realize that I always thought of Peter and John and all these guys as like white-haired old guys. But
because that's what they draw. These guys were kids. These guys were like, this Jesus dude was just this cool guy, man. Look at the stuff he does. And, even when he being crucified, they were scared. They were scared. Right. They were denying him. I just did a documentary that's coming out in the fall, dealing with the Last Supper, and it's called Eating with the Enemy. And I hope people will check it out, because it's it's a follow-up to one I did with the same guys, Ingenuity Films, Brent Miller's company. I did a documentary called Before the Wrath, which deals with, the second coming. And it was the #1 documentary 2 years ago on Amazon for 5 months. So I hope people will check out these docs too, because there's some wonderful work being done out there.
There's a way to, you can obviously Google Kevin Sorbo and you can see the movies that you might have missed. And so pick those up. Soul Surfer, and the one about the dolphin I thought was great. What is that?
Bernie the Dolphin. Good man. How many rated G movies are out there nowadays? Not many.
Not many. But you've done a documentary on the Last Supper. Did you include any of the unincluded stuff? I see. My theory is that there were, Dallas and I have talked about this, that there's the red letters that Jesus said. But surely he said other things. At some point he said, pass the salt, and that didn't make the cut. And so I always figure at the Last Supper, he said, everybody who wants to be in the picture needs to be on this side of the table. But that didn't make the cut either. So
pretty funny.
So Kevin, what are your days like now? The movie's out. It's in. What are your days just filled with talking to goons like me?
I'm literally, because like I said, we don't have the budget to throw a commercial every football game and stuff. I'm literally doing about 8 to 10 interviews every day. Anywhere from, most of them are about around that 20 to 30 minute mark, and just promoting the movie as best I can. And, just staying busy, which is good. I got 2 other movies done in the can coming out later this year. And then I got about 5 other ones that I shot last year that'll be out late this year or early next year. These 3 movies, Left Behind, the Reagan movie, and Miracle in Texas, were shot a little over a year ago, because most movies take about a year for post-production if they don't have a lot of visual effects. If they do, they can take 2, 3, 4 years.
What is the Reagan movie?
Dennis Quaid plays Reagan. I play his pastor in it. That'll be out sometime in the fall. Awesome. So it's like the JFK movie Oliver Stone did. It covers his life. It really starts JFK didn't go back that far. This starts when Reagan was in high school.
Wow.
And goes up until his death.
Wow. Excellent. I think it's awesome that this one is out. You know, I've heard different people say, "Oh, it's another one," but you know with different filmmakers taking that material, the material is fresh. And I remember, I mean, when the Coen brothers redid True Grit, I remember thinking, why would you redo True Grit? I mean, this is a famous. And then I went to see what they did, and it's so much better than the original. It's unbelievable.
Well, let me put it this way. Jerry Jenkins, who was the co-author along with Tim LaHaye of the 80 million best-selling books, remember there were more than one book, said this is easily the best Left Behind movie ever, and it's great for what's happening in our world today, because the writers of Cloud 10 up there in Toronto that own the rights to the books the last 35 years made it really modern. They put in the pandemic without naming it. They talk about world leaders using fear to control their people, fake news, gee whiz, one world government. Boy, is that happening right now? People talking about that, one currency. So it's right going on right now. One of my favorite lines in the movie is delivered by Buck when he just debated this woman on his news program, and he looks at the camera and he says, "Well, don't be in a hurry to get out any vanishing vaccines just yet." And the audience went crazy for it. They absolutely loved it.
That is awesome. Yeah, Jerry, and Jerry, I mean, I've had some long conversations with him about some of the movies, and if he says that, I mean, you're in. I love Jerry. Every time I'm with Jerry, I tell people that my proudest professional accomplishment is that Jerry and I together have sold about 100 million books.
There you go. That's pretty good, though.
Yeah, just that he's sold 85 million of them. Well, how can we help you, Kevin? I mean, other than the word of mouth, I mean, this is gonna come out, I think, Tuesday, and 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now.
Well, hopefully we're still in theaters by then. But unfortunately, we're this week we're still in theaters. We got another week, but we got The Chosen at the same time. And I'm going, guys, why do you sit there and try to compete with a show that's been out there for 3 years already, 4 years? So I'm hoping that we can get a double feature with this thing, because we have a wonderful movie here. And, you know, we're going to do a sequel to this one, too. They did so well last week. We finished number 5 per screen average on the box office. So we did pretty good for the little ins that could. And the writers already said they're going to start the next one. So hopefully I'll be directing that one by the end of the year. But go to sorbostudios.com, sorbostudios.com. You can sign up there. We keep up to date. My wife's and I, that's both our sites. She's a homeschool advocate, does a lot of books on that. I have 2 books called True Strength. One's called True Faith. And we have a lot of information on there. We have a lot of good stuff. I've got a number of movies already this year I'm going to be filming as well that I'm already booked for.
Awesome. Well, we will have links on the show notes to everything, and we'll make sure we get this to your people too. And so one last question. If
sure.
When you have what you have done, you had traditional success in Hollywood and then made a decision that you just couldn't put up with some of the demands and some of the ways they were moving. And so you moved to create your own opportunities, and you have. And so when you look at other people because I cringe when I see some people that are caught, they seem caught in that. They seem not to know what to do. They seem not to know how to speak out. They seem to not know if they can. And so what advice do you have for somebody like that?
Don't be afraid. Don't let fear rule your life. I get so many people coming out to me in movie sets over the last 10 years. They say, hey, what's another actor, a camera guy? They go very quietly. It's like we're doing a drug deal or something. So, hey, thanks for being a voice for us, man. And I go, well, be a voice for yourself. Hollywood actually booted me out. I didn't have any choice in the matter. I love the business. I love being on set. I love the creative process of people on both sides of the camera. I still get excited today, 40 years later. I've been in business such a long time now. And I still have fun on the set, and I love having fun on the set, and I like creating. So I was forced to really walk down a different road. But when I say forced, I mean, Hollywood is one to say we can't work with you anymore because you're a conservative and a Christian. So I had to laugh at that. But here's the thing. Andy, I don't have the hatred towards people who have a different point of view. I really don't.
Right.
It seems to be mostly come from the left, where you better not believe in God, or you better believe the way we believe, or we're coming after you. And I go, really? It's just, and then my freedom of speech is taken away, but theirs filled with anger and hate is okay. I mean, it's really weird. So I was kind of forced to go down this different road, but I love that road is open to me. God said, that door's closed, but don't worry, I got a better idea for you. So I'm going to keep making the movies that I'm doing. I'm going to keep making movies that inspire people, hopefully. And that's it. I'm just going to keep doing my own thing. I'll tell people right now, don't let anyone set your limitations, especially yourself.
Well, we are grateful for you, Kevin, and wish only the best for you and Sam and your family and your movies, and we'll be talking.
I love it. Thank you very much, sir. God
bless. Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right.
I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Flowbee Home Barber Systems for the cast and crew provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional funding provided by OrdinationsOnline.com. Friend, would you just like to make some extra money in your spare time? Do you have a spiritual bent but just haven't figured out how to turn that fervor into cold hard cash? No time to go to the seminary? We have your answers at OrdinationsOnline.com. For only $349, you can obtain a first-class theological education that will have you graduated, ordained, and hanging out your sign in 3 months' time. You'll be duly licensed for funerals and equipped with phrases like, "That's not your granddaddy in the box. That's just his shell." You can officiate wedding ceremonies, and because you're qualified, feel free to call everyone you meet dearly beloved 24/7. But that's not all. While there is steady cash flow coming in with the little stuff, your big bonanzas are always going to be revival weeks. In Revival Week, you'll be able to use all your skills and your new vocabulary. At OrdinationsOnline.com, we make you more than competent in persuasion with phrases like, every head bowed, every eye closed, no one looking. You'll learn how to call everyone brother or sister. You'll learn translations from the English, big room. You'll know the term in original Greek, fellowship hall. In English, it's a foyer. In Hebrew, a vestibule. We even reveal the power of the 4 stages of wrenching a public decision from a teenager. 1. Close your eyes where you are. 2. Raise your hand, no one looking. 3. With head still bowed, just stand up right where you are. 4. If you stood up, step into the aisle and join me down front. Register soon at OrdinationsOnline.com. If you register today, we'll send you a personally autographed 8x10 of Mary Magdalene. Or you can become an ambassador by signing up today and arranging for 5 of your friends to do the same. We here at OrdinationsOnline.com will arrange for the Apostle Paul to write a scorching letter to the congregation of your choice. Log on now, OrdinationsOnline.com.